Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very hot and very important topic to discuss, and I want you to stay with me till the end. Before we start, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Trust me, you'll want to be part of this conversation because what we are discussing affects every single one of us in Nigeria. The headline making waves right now says, "I will not take this." Gumi fires back as government mentions 15 sponsors. This is a story that is sparking debates across the country, and we are breaking it down for you. Sheikh Ahmad Gumi, who is known as a Kaduna-based Islamic scholar, has been in the news for his outspoken comments on insecurity, banditry, and terrorism in Nigeria. Over time, he has become both admired and criticized, depending on who you ask. Recently, the federal government of Nigeria made a very bold move. They publicly named 15 individuals and companies who they say are sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria. This list includes both private individuals and businesses that are allegedly helping finance or facilitate criminal activities linked to terrorism. The government says that these people and entities are not just small players. Some are moving money, helping criminals hide funds, or providing support in ways that worsen insecurity in regions across the northwest and northeast of Nigeria. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Sheikh Gumi reacted strongly to this government announcement. He said, "I will not take this," making it clear that he does not agree with the government's narrative or the way they are handling the matter. He is essentially standing his ground, saying that the real issues behind insecurity are deeper than what is being presented. To understand this, we need to look at who Sheikh Gumi is. He has been a controversial voice for years. While some see him as a truth teller, someone willing to speak on difficult issues, others see him as dangerous or sympathetic to the wrong people. He has openly discussed the idea that insecurity in Nigeria is not just caused by criminals acting alone. According to him, there are hidden sponsors and powerful individuals who profit from or support these criminal activities, and this needs to be exposed. This is why his reaction to the government naming 15 sponsors is so significant. He believes that naming just 15 people is not enough, and that the deeper networks behind terrorism remain untouched. He feels that the government is missing the bigger picture and might be targeting the wrong people or simplifying a complex problem. Now, why does this matter to all of us? Because this is not just politics, it is about safety, justice, and the future of our communities. If there are indeed individuals or companies financing terrorism, then exposing them and stopping their activities is crucial. But it must be done carefully, transparently, and with solid evidence. Otherwise, we risk creating confusion, mistrust, and even further tension among citizens. The tension here is both political and social. On one side, the government wants to show it is taking strong action against terrorism, trying to freeze assets and disrupt financing channels. On the other side, Gumi is saying, don't stop there, don't oversimplify, the problem is bigger, and the real masterminds are still at large. This creates a public debate. Are we focusing on the right targets? And are we truly addressing the root causes of insecurity? Another point to consider is how the public perceives this situation. People are divided. Some see Gumi as brave, someone speaking uncomfortable truths. Others see him as reckless, giving comfort to criminals or undermining government efforts. This debate goes beyond one person. It touches on how Nigeria deals with terror, banditry, and violence, and whether solutions are purely military, purely political, or need a mix of social and economic strategies. At the heart of the matter, Sheikh Gumi's response is also moral and spiritual. He has prayed publicly that God will expose and punish those who secretly sponsor or profit from terrorism. This kind of spiritual framing makes the issue even more powerful for many followers and supporters. It is not just about law and policy, it is also about ethics, justice, and morality. Now, let's break it down even further so everyone can understand clearly. The government has named these 15 sponsors. Their goal is to stop money and support from reaching terrorists. This is supposed to make Nigeria safer, especially in regions plagued by kidnappings, attacks, and banditry. But naming people and companies is not the same as proving guilt. There must be a process, evidence, legal actions, and transparency. Without this, accusations alone can cause mistrust and panic. Sheikh Gumi's main point is that security challenges in Nigeria are much bigger than just a list of names. He emphasizes that political and economic interests, corruption, neglect of communities, and unaddressed social grievances all contribute to insecurity. This means that while freezing assets or naming sponsors is necessary, it is not enough. There must also be reforms, dialogue, and long-term solutions to address why terrorism and banditry continue to thrive. Now, for those watching this video, I want you to pause for a moment and think about this. Do you believe naming 15 sponsors is enough to solve Nigeria's security challenges? Or do you think, like Sheikh Gumi, that the bigger networks behind these activities are still operating without consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more real-time updates. The key takeaway here is that this story is bigger than politics or personalities. It's about justice, accountability, and safety. If the government has evidence, it needs to act decisively. If Gumi's warnings about hidden networks are correct, then those too must be investigated. Nigeria's citizens deserve security, fairness, and clarity, not confusion or incomplete actions. Sheikh Gumi's reaction is also a lesson in courage and controversy. Speaking truth to power is never easy, especially in a country dealing with high levels of insecurity. Some may fear backlash, others may support his moral stance. What we see here is a clash between government authority and outspoken moral voices. This is a story that will continue to unfold, and the public needs to stay informed. I also want you to remember, if you enjoy this kind of in-depth coverage, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video with friends and family because this discussion affects all Nigerians. Understanding these events helps us all engage more responsibly and stay aware of the security environment. Now, I can continue and go even deeper into the implications, the reactions from the public, experts, and civil society, and what this might mean for Nigeria in the next months. This next part will take us into the heart of the story, looking at possible outcomes, risks, and what citizens can expect. Now, picking up from where we left off, the reactions to this list of 15 sponsors have been mixed across Nigeria. On one hand, some citizens welcome the government's transparency. They say it's about time that financiers of terrorism are publicly named, that actions are taken to freeze their accounts, and that justice is pursued without fear or favor. They believe this will send a strong message to anyone thinking of supporting criminal networks that the government is serious. On the other hand, there are critics, including civil society groups, human rights organizations, and experts in security, who warn that naming people publicly without clear evidence could backfire. They argue that while disrupting finances is crucial, the process must be legal, transparent, and fair. If not, innocent individuals or businesses could be wrongly accused, creating more tension and mistrust between citizens and the government. Sheikh Gumi's fiery response adds another layer to this debate. By rejecting the government's list, he signals that the narrative is not complete. He insists that the real problem is bigger than what has been publicly revealed. This viewpoint encourages us to ask tough questions. Are we targeting only small players while the major sponsors remain hidden? Are systemic issues, such as corruption, poverty, and weak governance, still being ignored? Gumi's approach also brings up a moral dimension. His public prayers and warnings are meant to hold people accountable beyond just legal measures. He frames the issue as not just criminal but also ethical and spiritual. For many followers, this resonates strongly because it ties the fight against terror to justice, morality, and societal responsibility. Let's talk about what this means for ordinary Nigerians. First, it highlights the importance of awareness. We need to understand where insecurity comes from, not just react to attacks. Second, it shows that solutions must be multidimensional. Military action alone cannot stop terrorism. Freezing funds and naming sponsors is important, yes, but addressing the root causes, social inequality, neglected communities, lack of opportunities is just as critical.